and welcome to another episode of Three Crones. I am one of your hostesses. My name is Gayle Nicholson. I'm with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. And to my side, we have Miss Christmas Tree, 2021, Krista Ducharme, Krista the Christmas Tree, with Dimensional Healing with Krista on Facebook. And of course, rounding us out on the bottom, we have Damaris Samolinski with Ask the Genie with Damaris Samolinski. Wow, I cannot make my lips do nothing today.
Hey, have you been into my eggnog?
No, maybe that's the problem. I haven't. Well, we can tell that Krista's all full of Christmas cheer today. How's everything going over there in the Netherlands?
It's wonderful. Oh my goodness. So, of course, as you guys all know, today is solstice. Happy solstice.
Happy Yule.
It is so exciting. And we actually woke up to below freezing weather. And so it was all crispy and frosty. And I was like, oh, when the sun comes up, which it did, funny enough, I was thinking, oh, it's just going to melt it away. No, it really didn't. So we had like frost frost was everywhere. And it's been amazing. And today we've been working on gingerbread houses. It's become a tradition with Kevin, Jenna, and I. When the boys were home, we did it with them a couple of times as well. But so right now, if you start hearing people getting really rowdy, it's Jenna and Kevin downstairs all the way 3 stories down. They're making their gingerbread houses. So I'm hoping I'm going to go down and mine is still going to be the structure.
Well, I like that.
Oh, but they haven't like decorated it on your behalf while you're out of the room?
Yeah, or they haven't helped to disassemble it for me to have to start all over. With those two, it gets very competitive.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, we're going to put a vote. Well, if you saw last year's, we had people vote on them. Yeah, and they're both competing against, or they're both talking about who's going to win. For me, I just decorate it and have fun, and I just enjoy the whole thing. So it's been a fun day, in lockdown. We're having a good time.
I mean, that's safe,
There's a time of the year that lockdown is great.
Yes. I agree.
It is.
So we have a question. I'm not quite sure who is asking this because it's Facebook user, but I'm going to say probably.
I don't have one. I didn't know that we were supposed to wear one.
That's funny.
Yeah, sorry guys. I have a tendency to just go crazy. I have lots of headgear. Not near. Honest. I do not have as much headgear as my sister Tracy does. Tracy has tubs of headgear.
Really?
And she just goes crazy. Oh, hey. So yeah.
Happy solstice, everyone. I'm into tiaras, but not necessarily funny. Like, remember diddly bops, or what the heck were they called?
I don't know.
My gosh, they were the headband with the little antennae thing.
Strings,
diddly bops, or something like that.
Yeah.
That. I think I'm traumatized by those.
Yeah.
No, I think it's adorable though.
It is. I love it.
Okay, I was telling Gayle and Damaris, so this I used to sell Christmas trees when we lived in Washington State. The farm that we worked at, we were pumpkins in October and Christmas trees November and early December. And the last year that I was there, I found this and the battery's dead, but it flashed.
Aww.
And because of the job, I directed traffic. And so I wore that so people would stop and recognize, it was an attention getter.
So cute. I love it.
Sometimes you just got to embrace it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fun. It's
absolutely.
fun.
It is fun.
So what are you doing, Damaris, to embrace the fun of the holiday?
I'm not just listening to music, and I was rapping practically for a couple of hours yesterday because my husband says, you got all day, you're home. He thinks I have nothing better to do.
Oh yeah, eating
So
bonbons.
Yeah.
yes, because he goes out to work, and because he thinks I'm home all day, that I have nothing better to do. So I was doing that and doing the stocking stuffers too, because I do those too. It's fun to do those they're not that young anymore, but they still enjoy it.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
You'd be heartbroken the first year that your parents didn't give you a stocking, you know?
Yes.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And we put little things in there like nail clippers, lip balms, just,
Yeah.
little things,
Yep,
Absolutely.
the little things that they need
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah,
Hand
I actually need to
sanitizers.
go get a couple more stocking stuffers myself
Yeah.
for the three of us. Oh, thank you. Whoever
That's
you are.
Diane Floros.
She looks cute, yes.
Hey,
Awesome stuff. Well,
so how
yeah.
are you doing, Gayle?
Yes.
Good question. Good question. I'll be honest, I've been flitting in and out of Christmas, just
Be right back.
riding the roller
Okay.
coaster. Christmas isn't fantastic for everybody, right?
Of course.
It's I got my little 2.5-year-old Tatum down in Arizona that I'm not going to be down there for her. For some reason, yesterday I started talking about my mom and just burst out in tears. How much I miss her. I'm always one of those that gets caught up in it's never good enough. Got to buy more, and no matter, and the anxiety about whatever it is that I pick out, it won't be the right thing, and they'll be disappointed. So Christmas is very, very high anxiety and stressful for me, which is why I like solstice so much better, because solstice and Yule, it's all about the decorating the trees, singing the carols, drinking the honey mead wine, or the spiced cider and stuff like that. I can get a whole lot more into the celebration of, and this is the birthday of the invincible sun. Today is the day that the sun starts coming back, and I can really get into that. In fact,
I need you to come get my
I love it.
I used to do this talk about what
They may be at Allison.
what it took to combine all of the different sects and denominations and tribes into Christianity in the early days. And what that took was adopting all of the parties from other celebrations that were going on at the same time. So I can definitely get more into solstice and the celebration of the light than the Coca-Cola Santa Claus.
Yeah. Me too.
Coca-Cola Santa Claus gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
How about you guys? Do you love Christmas or hate Christmas? Are you a solstice person or a Merry Christmas person? Put in the comments. What's your favorite part of all of the holidays at this time of the year?
All of it.
All of it. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It's my favorite holiday for me too.
Yeah.
I do. But I have to say this year for solstice, I've really gotten into it. I've always gotten into solstice, but not nearly the way I've gotten into it this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because I'm back in Europe. And so, now it's our second Christmas or second solstice here in Europe. Mm-hmm. And last year is like pretty much we were in lockdown almost from the day we arrived.
Yeah.
And this time we haven't been. So I've gotten, I don't know.
I've seen some pictures from your travels around the Christmas villages and the fairs and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Nice. I wonder how different it would be to celebrate Yule and Christmas in Europe as opposed to here where everything is so Americanized.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, let me tell you, it is really a different experience And I'm not saying it's less commercial. That I feel like in the States, our entire Christmas season, just the holiday season has turned into this huge commercial
yes.
aspect. Whereas here, they're actually, they celebrate the celebration. It's for them, it's about being together. It's about, it's about food. It's, and not saying that it isn't commercial in terms of that, but it's the tradition, and it's, the gifts that they give are less about these big things and more about meaning. Mm-hmm. And it's really traditional, to find, at least the people that I've talked to, it's less is more is the philosophy.
Yeah.
And so I really find that it's more about that spirit. And I saw on, was it the History? No, it was BBC. We were watching something about BBC that Christmas was almost lost completely. Completely. And if it wasn't for Charles Dickens in writing A Christmas Carol and bringing back some of what people thought was that spirit, it probably would have been written off the map.
Yeah, I did not see probably the same thing that you did. But I do recall seeing where they were talking about the fact that before Christmas came to be the way that we know it now, it was much more like Saturnalia, like the drunken debauchery. It was horrible to the families and that kind of stuff. So they really kind of tried to stamp it out, like abolitionists. Is that the right word? Temperance people. Not abolitionists, but the people that wanted no drinking.
Yes.
And they really tried to stamp it out. And like you said, it wasn't until that they put this whole other spin on it about it being about the tradition and the feelings and the meaning of, the Christ child coming to be our savior and everything, that it grew back up. And then, what was it? Macy's? Or Gimbel's?
I think it was both of them, Gimbel and Macy's in the United States.
Yeah.
So, the United States version of Christmas is very commercial, based on that commercial. Coca-Cola, Macy's, Gimbel, bringing Santa, the jolly old elf, into the forefront. So yeah.
Now I have a question to put out there for all of you. Okay, so we're talking about the traditional Yule solstice, and in that version of the traditions of the legends, right? Odin, with his 8-legged horse Sleipnir, was the one that came and brought gifts. Mm-hmm. My grandson goes to a Lutheran preschool. And they're very about, Christ and Christmas. They've got the creche outside, which I really don't have any problem with. But at what age can I actually, he just turned 6 years old. Can I tell him that Odin, Thor's dad from Avengers, is Santa Claus? How do we cross the streams like this?
That is a really, really good question. That really is. There is a great book, and I can't remember the author, but it's about the Norse tales and the Norse mythology, and that's how I would start. I would introduce some of that mythology and see what questions they raise with him, mainly because it's kind of like a kid going in, at the age of 6 into kindergarten and first grade and telling all his classmates that Santa Claus doesn't exist.
Right. And that's just it. I don't want to end up like his grandmother, where she studied so much that the whole holiday shucks now.
Oh, wow.
All of the different stories so you don't believe in any one of them anymore.
Oh, you see, I love celebrating them all. So it has zero to do with believing in them, but it's more for me appreciating and embracing it.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I celebrate, I appreciate it, I bring the different traditions in, but I don't blindly believe any one of them anymore, because I know that they're all variations and modifications to bring all of those disparate tribes together for one huge humanity instead of these warring little factions, which was a great idea. Anyways, I'll leave you guys alone on that, because it just kind of takes some of the magic away.
For me, growing up, we didn't have Santa. We had the Three Kings Day, which is January 6th. So what we did was through the whole, December was cook, eat, go to different houses. We used to do the caroling, we used to go door to door to different people that we knew and sing. Yeah. And then really the gifts were given on January 6th for Three Kings Day. We grew up believing that, the three kings were the one that brought the gifts. So that's how we did it. Yeah.
I love that. I love that idea. Epiphany.
Yep, the Epiphany. Yep. And in Italy, when we lived there, so they had, like here in the Netherlands, so there are multiple days in December that they're gifts giving days. And it was the same within Italy as well. And depending upon, so like we'll stick here with the Netherlands, December 5th is Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas. And that's all about the chocolates and the candies. And if a gift is given, it's a gift for the family, not a gift for the individuals. So, traditionally, from what I understand, it's a puzzle, it's a game, it's something that they do together because of the cold winter nights.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what was it that happened right around December 3rd this year?
December 3rd.
It was this year. It was the 3rd. They do tend to rove. A moon calendar roves a bit, right? What was it?
We had a new moon because we just had the full moon. On the 4th.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just pointing to where these gift-giving holidays line up with the moon cycles.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. They do. And the moon cycle, I mean, just like the whole thing for Hanukkah is all based around the lunar calendar. And that's why it's consistently moving. It's like, we'll talk about the stuff in the spring, how it is related to the moon calendar as well. I mean, it can be really remarkable for people when they start understanding how that all corresponds and correlates. So and then of course on Christmas, it's again here in the Netherlands, from what I understand, it's another token, except it's individual items. And then because where we are in the Netherlands, so one of the things that's very interesting about the Netherlands is it's not a country that's based on religion. It is but they have very religious areas. So it's really, I had a Dutch friend explain it. You know how you have the Bible Belt in the United States? We have similar here in Netherlands. I laughed. I thought that was really funny. But they too observe King's Day and the Epiphany, but they observe it in a slightly different way. And it's more about the baked goods. And that's the same as it is down in Italy as well, is it was more about the baked goods.
Nice.
It's just
so many different, right, cultures and traditions.
And it's really neat. I mean, when we lived in Australia, Christmas was really different.
I'll bet. It's the summertime.
It is the summer. And so everyone goes to the beach.
Nice.
And they eat prawns on the Barbie.
Prawns.
So it's much different. So I know you guys are
all
on
shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah, shrimp pot in a Barbie. That's
Yeah.
what, but they call it prawns. Yeah,
Nice.
but it's a much different mind. It's all about yeah, it's all different, but it's so fun. It's so fascinating, at least for me.
Oh
So yes,
yeah.
I know I could go
Yeah.
on. You know about all this stuff, and I've been learning so much more, and because I've been doing so much research, trying to share it with you guys.
Now,
So I'm like, I'm reading, and I'm like, oh, now that's fascinating. I didn't know that. Oh, now that's really great. I didn't know that either.
right. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Okay,
It
let's
is.
get started with Damaris's section
All
here.
right, let's do it.
I'm interested to hear what you're going to follow up with that post today.
Ooh. All right. So today, Capricorn, the sun goes into Capricorn. Now there's a conjunction between the sun, Venus, and Pluto. And so let's talk a little bit about that, right? Really quick. So the sun is the life giver, is the giver of life. So we were given life. We descended from spirit, right? So spirit is matter in its highest manifestation, in its highest vibration, and matter is spirit in its lowest manifestation, right? Or vibration. And so we look at Venus, and Venus in Taurus is more on the physical layer, physical ego, let's say. It's looking for material things, it's looking for possessions, so it's more on the physical reality rather than the spiritual one, right? Libra in Venus is more on the higher love, right? It's more on that higher love, compassion, kindness, right? Pluto in its lowest vibration has to do with passions of the flesh, right? In its highest vibration, it has to do with transformation. It has to do with resurrection, right? So we spoke about that a little bit the other day. So Capricorn, let me talk about Capricorn. Capricorn is the gateway through which the soul enters when it's leaving the physical body. And once it goes across that gateway, it comes into the spiritual court of justice, where it's going to go on trial for the earthly deeds. So what does that mean? Capricorn has to do with money and power. It has to do with, wanting status, reputation. So if the soul, right, going through that gateway, it's really about self-serving and not about humanitarian services. What happens is the soul has to come back and repeat the cycle of whatever it didn't learn. Now, if the soul was about humanitarian, services and helping others and being kind and compassion, now at this moment, then the soul meets, the student, so to speak, meets the teacher. And so in that point, the soul doesn't have to come back to repeat anything. It gets almost like an upgrade, so to speak. And we'll talk about the upgrade a little bit with today's number, which is the master number 11, which I'll go into that right now so that you guys can understand how it all comes together. So 11, the master number today, let's use today's date. First of all, if you add 12, 21, 21, it's 333, right? It equals 9 that way. But if you add 12, 12, 20, 21, it equals 11. The 9/11 is very significant. Remember, I said this is biblical. 9/11, what happened 9/11, right? It was the structures came down, right? The towers came down, right? And so when you add twin towers, it equals 22. 22 is a master number. So in 2022, the revelations of that will come out. And 22 is 4, structure. Remember, we were talking about the last week as well. We were talking about your structure. It could be your physical structure. So let's use Capricorn for a second. If we incarnated and we were just self-serving and looking for money and power and abusing that power, so then our structure is decaying, Pluto energy. Right. And you have to sort of go through that cycle of, birth, death, and rebirth, coming back to repeat. So what we want to do is completely, use the life that was given by the sun, so to speak, use the life that was given and do the right thing, not only for ourselves, but for humanity. And that's the portal that's opening right now. It's a huge portal where we have the chance, if you will, or we have the free will to choose higher vibration, right? High vibrations matter. It will save us from a lot of, pain and suffering, if you will. So also the master number 11, if you add the 333, like I was saying before, that equals 9. If you leave it as 333, it's the master number, ascended masters. Once you meet that teacher, right? Once the student is ready and you meet the teacher, then the student starts becoming that master. So the master within us, or the masters that have come before us, are returning with the Pluto return and bringing order. So also the master number 11 says that you're the light of the world. And so once people have gone through 11 incarnations, they become the master number 11, which is, he is the light of the world. We're supposed to light the world as that master incarnation of the master number 11. And so we have a big responsibility to sort of, go through that process of being selfless. And then once you become selfless, then you light the light for others to do the same. So there is a huge biblical thing happening right now with that portal. And again, not everybody is going to go through that portal. And the fact that the sun in Capricorn is conjunct Venus and Pluto tells you right there, are you going to vibrate to the higher octave of that Venus, which is kindness and compassion and love, and the higher active of Pluto, where we're going to resurrect from whatever has fallen, right? Or whatever needs to be rebuilt. And so that whole conjunction is very powerful, including the solstice, because of the numerology aspect of it. And a lot of things are going to be revealed that have been hidden. And so that will begin in 2022.
Awesome. That was very confusing.
Okay. So where do you want me to clear it up?
I don't know. I don't know. I get that the master number for today is 11, right?
Yeah.
So we have that ascended master number, right? And we have Pluto and Venus, which are, the higher love and the more dense love, the hidden being revealed, and so on. And then Capricorn is a portal.
So Capricorn is a gate. So every sign has significance, right?
Okay.
We all, so like, even if we're not Capricorns, we all have to go through those process, right? Because the chart, a natal chart, has every sign, and every house in those 12 houses are almost like levels of consciousness. So let's use Capricorn as a level of consciousness, and Capricorn is a gateway where their soul, when the soul is ready to leave the body, it goes through that gateway of Capricorn. And once it goes through the gateway, it goes on the other side and meets the court of justice, the spiritual court of justice of what the soul just left, what the body, what the person or the soul just lived through.
Okay, so then to simplify that part of it, Capricorn is St. Peter's Gate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so
you're gonna go through this gate, and you're gonna answer for what you've just finished,
what you just left behind, right? What were your earthly deeds? Were you kind? Remember, Capricorn stands for money and power and status and reputation and good standing. It could be for, political people, leaders, a high-ranking people. Capricorn holds that energy. And so what did you do with that when you came into the incarnation, right? When you were giving your life through the sun, right? Were you just self-serving, or did you help humanity with whatever humanity needed? So that's what will be judged. That's what you're going to be tried for when you go through that gateway, when you're
Okay,
leaving
so
your
it's going to be
body.
a big different story between Bill Gates and Elon Musk.
Probably so. Probably so.
It could
Probably
be.
so.
Yeah.
So you know,
Or maybe not. You know,
Well,
maybe not.
how about
We
more?
have
It would
free
be a
will,
big.
right?
It'd be a big thing between, like Elon Musk, rather than using Bill Gates. Use like Elon Musk. Well, no, I was gonna say Richard Branson because they're both like in the similar, but they both do great things, and they both try to do.
well, that's
very
why I was trying to
philanthropic
differentiate between.
So you could
But
use
Bill
Hitler
Gates,
and Gandhi
they do
if you want.
philanthropy. The
Hitler and
Gates,
Gandhi,
yeah.
right? They
Okay,
both have influences. What did
that's a
each
good.
of them do with their influence? What did they
Yeah.
do, right?
Yeah.
In their during their incarnation, and so that's what you will be judged on once you go through that gateway. And Capricorn holds that gateway. So all of us, even though we're not Capricorn, will go through that process because Capricorn holds that. And so we're at a point right now where we got to choose which way we're going, our free will, right? If you haven't been that good person, say, for example, you can begin to do that now. And you can begin to balance what you haven't balanced before. Again, we're in the fifth dimensional reality where we're going from the I to the we. I keep saying that in every kind of show, because I really want people to understand we're not going to be self-serving anymore. Selfish is all about helping others. It's about almost coming out of the tunnel, and once you're on the other side, lighting a flashlight for those that are coming through the tunnel, and they can see that that dim of light.
Which brings me back to, I want to clarify why I picked Bill Gates and Elon Musk.
Okay.
Bill Gates makes you pay through the nose for any Microsoft product. Elon Musk made his patents available to anybody who wanted to learn how to build an electric car. So there's the self-ish as opposed to the selfless. Like everybody should have this information. No, you have to pay me for this information.
When they both go through that gateway at the end of their lives, they're going to have to be tried in the spiritual court of justice, their soul. And so depending upon what they've done with their lives, their deeds here on earth, they will have to either go through that, cycle of birth, death, and rebirth again, keep repeating it. And then every time you come back, it kind of gets harder and harder. Until you learn the lessons, right? So, but each of us also, even though we're not billionaires like those two men that you mentioned, but each of us has the ability to change our environment and be of influence. And so we can do that, even if it's in a small community, right? And that's the gateway that is opening right now. Which way are we going to go, right? Are we going to be ready for the teacher to appear? Are we ready? Right? That's the master number 11. And so the master within you can also be born, and can also, you can tap into that ascended master, and also the return of the ascended masters, right? Those that came before us, and so, again, it's a really great opportunity, a powerful opportunity to, ascend to higher levels of vibration. Like I said, high vibrations matter. So, we really should take the opportunity to balance whatever we need to balance. And whatever we've been through in the past might be just, what we needed to learn to be where we are now, and then make that choice. And we can help the people that, from the experiences that we've had in the past. Like 85% of my clients are people that, love too much. I used to love too much and used to get hurt. I used to look for love in all the wrong places because of the loss of my mom. And so now I get to help people because I got lost and found my way. Now I help them as well. And so it could be love in any form, it just doesn't have to be romantic.
Well, it makes sense then why, Capricorn being the end of December, why we take stock of, what we've accomplished over the past year, making, our plans for New Year's resolution, how to, new start, that type of thing, what we want to do, and also why we give our excess money and power in the form of gifts to other people to kind of balance out. Obviously, if I've got more than enough at the end of the year, then I need to share this selflessly with others. So it's kind of like, an under the, just kind of an under the radar compulsion, I think, for humanity to do all of that, Fantastic.
Yeah, we have a chance to balance it now, and moving forward, so that you get it. I want you to understand what I was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to Krista, because we've got huge stuff going on with the crystals and the solstice stuff over there.
We do all kinds of stuff. So it is all about Tiger Eye this week. And yes, I
She's
did a
got costume change. Oh
my costume change.
All right, come on. I got to keep this party going, guys.
All right.
It's too funny.
All right.
So I'm going to actually add in some clarity. I'm going to first start with Tiger's Eye. And if you have photos of Tiger Eye, I didn't know if you did.
Let's
do it. If you do, go ahead and pop them up. So Tiger's Eye is really an incredible stone for right now. And there are many reasons. And it works in alignment with what Damaris was saying. Mm-hmm. So Tiger's Eye works with Capricorn, by the way. That's who it is aligned with. It also works with Scorps. So a lot of Scorpios. It's not one of our primary stones. It is, but it is a good one for us. However, I'm focused on Capricorn for this particular time. And a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about is about raising vibration, becoming an awareness, balancing ourselves out, making sure that when we're communicating, it's not all about what's coming out of it's not solely about making sure the words come out of our mouth, but to be mindful of what's coming out of our mouth, but also to be in awareness of what we're listening to. Use those listening ears. Mm-hmm. Y'all remember telling your kids, so turn your listening ears on. That's a really important thing. So Tiger's Eye is here at a perfect time with solstice, because it is a protection as well. Now, I don't know if you guys saw a post I put in earlier. I think did I put it in? Oh, it's definitely on dimensional healing with Krista. I do believe I put it in our group as well. But it's 5 stones that one of my mentors, who I just absolutely love, Philip, recommended for solstice. And I sat with the stones. I sat and I read what he wrote, and I'll share a little bit with you. And Tiger's Eye is one of the ones that he put in. And he selected that because it is a stone that is good for, and I want to make sure I read it right. He selected red Tiger's Eye because he said it's good for stimulating the energy. And if you think of what Damaris just said, we do need to stimulate our energy. Energy that moves and energy that flows is not stagnant. Mm-hmm. And it is easier for us to adapt, adjust, to raise ourselves up, if you will. So, and it helps us to really connect with that sensuality, with our passion, our compassion, like how did I use both the words? You can be a passionate person, but remember, passion is really effective when you mix it with compassion as well.
Absolutely.
Especially in this time of year. And because it helps us to ground, it connects with our root chakra, whether it's the red one, whether it's a red Tiger's Eye or whether it's a golden Tiger's Eye, it is all lower energy. It helps to ground us and protect us. And so when I read what Philip had written in his post, I was like, oh no, that makes complete sense. So the other stones, and I'm just going to list, because I did I don't want to say I disagreed with something he said, but I have a sense of something else that I think resonates better for me with solstice. And that's why it's important. Snowflake Obsidian. You guys know that it's black with all the little white specks around it. I absolutely love that stone. I find it a great balancer, a good yin and yang.
Yeah.
Philip mentions it as being a reminder that in the darkness, we're entering back into light. So that is a really important thing to think about for solstice, because that's what we're celebrating. Is we're celebrating the darkest of our days and our night, right? Which now leads us into light. Means that our light is going to grow. And so that is a really great one. It also, again, is a great balancer. It brings us into alignment. So the other stone that he has is Goldstone. Now, on his particular photo, it showed green Goldstone, and it's about prosperity and abundance for the upcoming year. So Goldstone is a really good one. Now, this is where he and I I feel like that amber, especially Baltic amber, also resonates with that as well. And a lot of people don't think of Baltic amber, and I specify Baltic amber over amber because Baltic amber is older. And Baltic amber, it resonates with me because it resonates with the sun. It's connected to the sun. It's connected to warmth. It's connected to light. It's also connected to prosperity and our solar plexus. So it's connected to positive energy. And I feel like, especially maybe for me, it's because our main group of people who are part of our coven, if you will, of joy, here we are women, that this really resonated with me because it's a healing stone as well. And it really helps us not just heal emotions, but heal physically. So yes, Goldstone is really great for that prosperity aspect and abundance for in the new year, but Baltic amber is as well. So if you have one or the other or both, go ahead. They're both great. Use them. So he also mentioned pyrite because it inspires creativity. Again, pyrite is reflective. It's metallic. It brings in light. Hence, you like my sparkly shirt?
Very much.
I wore this so that it would bring in light.
Right.
And you see, you two are both wearing darker colors, and I'm bringing in light.
That's awesome.
There, you see that? No.
And the 11 too. The master number 11 is be of light.
Be of light, right? So yeah, it's here. It's all about bringing that into the upcoming year, and in the pagan calendar or the Wicca calendar, the year begins here with the Yule. It's the new beginning. It starts now.
Wow.
And so the last stone that Philip mentioned is clear quartz because it's an amplifier. It is there to stimulate. And it's in the intention, if you put it in there, it's to stimulate. It's to stimulate. Yes, you do. It's to stimulate positive vibes and joy. So one of the things when you're working with crystals, and I'm going to bring it up here, is that when you go to work with them and you set intention, and where did it go? I have one I was going to show you. Oh, snap. It disappeared on me. Oh, no, here it is. And when you set intentions with a crystal, it is amazing how the energy will shift with it. So I did a post. I've been part of this witchy Advent. Thank you, Tracy, for that. It's by Inked Goddess. Creative Inked Goddess, I think is it. I'll make sure I correct that if it's wrong. So today I got my last one because it starts from December 1st and it ends on solstice. And today I got a necklace, and everybody got a different necklace.
Beautiful.
Isn't that, this is an amethyst. So you need to go back and look at the photo. I did a before photo and an after photo. The before, I gave it Reiki and set my intention. And it really was a dark amethyst and not a pretty one. She's gorgeous now. And then I gave her Reiki and I set my intention, and it is very much a her. And the photo, I mean, we're talking about 5 minutes. Total change over.
She shape shifted.
You gotta go and see the photo. It's on my Dimensional Healing with Krista Facebook page. But that is the power of the intention. All right. And I used Reiki as well, but it was also the intention I put with it. And I found that it was such a powerful thing to demonstrate in a very real physical way something that I'm hoping that you can't deny. A lot of people will, and that's fine, and that's their journey. But yeah, you need to focus on what your intention is, and it's not just what you say, it's what you think, it's what you feel, it's how you vibe. Now, that's not to say you're not going to have a bad day, an off day, but if you connect it to a crystal, whatever the crystal is that resonates with you, you're going to find that when you see the crystal, if you wear the crystal, if you carry the crystal, it will remind you of that intention, because that's what its job is. It's kind of like training a guard dog. When you train the dog to be a guard dog, it knows what its job is.
Yep.
Yeah. So that is my thing. I know
Awesome.
I talked a little bit more than just about Tiger's Eye. If you guys have questions or further questions, please feel free to ask, especially about crystals. Or
no sunstone there?
No, he didn't have sunstone. Now you can substitute goldstone with sunstone. I wasn't feeling the sunstone for this one. It really was the Baltic amber that was calling out to me. And maybe it's because I am in Europe. And I mean, it's like, so there are palaces here and castles here that have rooms that are, we'll say papered in Baltic amber.
Wow.
I haven't been to one yet, but
I thought you were going to say the salt rooms,
And then you have salt rooms, and those are amazing rooms and spaces. I would love to have one in my house, but I can't put it in a turtle. So I'm gonna have to wait.
Well,
I know.
It's not impossible.
It isn't impossible.
I want to piggyback on that a bit, because every week when we do your crystal, I always try to grab crystals of my own, that I have with me. It's funny because I've been living in my daughter's guest room for a number of months now, but I have my crystal Bible, I have my kit of crystals, and I have my jewelry box. And today when I asked about Tiger's Eye, it didn't take me to my kit of crystals. It took me to my jewelry box, because I have this beautiful necklace that's actually tiger iron.
Wow.
Oh, I love tiger iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very similar. Excuse me 1 second. Hi, baby.
Want to come in to get something?
Yep, quick. My now 6-year-old grandson just paid us a visit.
Excellent. Hey,
so tiger iron is even heavier than tiger's eye.
Yeah,
it is.
And I love it. It's very grounding to me, but also I was standing here just kind of get buzzed as Damaris was talking. So it wasn't all your descriptions that was confusing. I was like, whoa, yeah.
I've had that. Oh
yeah. But see, now that you brought up the Baltic amber, I'm gonna go take one of the necklaces, the Baltic amber necklaces that I got from Sue at Classic Act Imports, and I'm going to wrap this tiger iron in Baltic amber and wear those together and see how that impacts things.
That's
I'm excited about it. Yeah, because
Report back.
normally
Let us know how it feels.
I will.
Oh,
I will.
Share
Nice little
photos.
field experiment. But
Aren't
I
they
think
fun?
that's gonna. They are. I think that'll work really well because this tiger iron, it's very powerful and it's very empowering, right? Like I become fierce when I put this on, right?
Oh, yeah.
And before I really realized what I had, because I got it at a garage sale for $2.
There you go.
Before I realized what I had, it was like I wore it because it went with the outfit that I had on. And my whole demeanor changed all day. And people were looking at me like, what? Why are you not, docile Gayle? And I've never gone back, actually. I think it just completely changed me. But yeah, I love that. I love the idea that just inspiration to wrap it. And that was really fantastic stuff about what's his name? Peter?
His name is Philip, and I never can say his last name right. And I actually own, I think, all his books now. He's called the Crystal Healer. And whenever I teach a class, this is so if you take a crystal class with me, and I actually have people waiting for me to teach one in the new year, this is the book I will be telling you to buy.
Nice.
And because I find that it's a really great book for how I teach. Nice. And he's really awesome. He's actually not too far from me. However, I can't go there because he's in England. And well, if you go to England, they won't let you go anywhere else right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, England is really having problems.
Too true, Allison. Too true.
Boss
well, you know what? That is an absolutely fantastic. Hold on. I screwed up. Did I screw up? I screwed up. I did. Uh-oh. There we go. All right, because I wanted to come back here, and that was actually a brilliant segue that I stomped all over into this week's card of the day, the Hierophant, right? So the Hierophant is all about your beliefs and learning and applying yourself to the things that you need to know. So today's message brought to us through Galaxy Tarot app. Today is a day for learning. Ask yourself, what one thing could I learn that would improve my life now? Okay, so bum, 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 bum. We're going to say Krista's crystal class for the coming year, for one thing. All right.
There you go.
Once you've decided what that subject is, hit the books. There's no reason you can't go out and get that book now, or any of the other things that we've offered here over the year. Go to the recognized experts and pay close attention to their words. Once you've absorbed the traditional teachings on the subject, like while we were talking about Coca-Cola Santa Claus, right? The traditional teachings, you can begin to innovate. But for now, be a willing and cooperative student, right? So interesting how things kind of melt in.
The student meets the teacher, right? When the student is ready.
Right. And even taking stock of what we've learned this year, what has worked, what hasn't worked, right? And going forward. But today is about taking stock of that. This is solstice. 11 a.m. this morning, right? The sun is going in the other direction, so to speak. And I know it's really not. But you know what I'm saying, right? The light is coming back. So now is the time for learning where it is that we got to, right? Into the little death. Now, as far as what we're going to talk about this week for my segment, right? The presence and power in a world full of distraction. All right. So we want to draw in that master number 11 today, that mastery of having that presence, that internal power that keeps us on task and keeps us delivering what it is that we came here to deliver, regardless of what's going on around us. It's really, really funny as you guys were talking today, little light bulbs went on for me, right? Like for example, the Advent calendar, right? The Yule Advent calendar, right? Being that it goes from December 1st to solstice, okay?
Yes.
And that in the Wiccan calendar, next year starts right now.
Right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, traditionally, for me, not realizing until just recently how witchy I am and where my ancestors came from and how much of my mother's raising me was stuff that would be considered witchcraft to the more traditional denominations, right? I have always wanted to take the time off from the end, like solstice to January 1st. That's my planning period. That's my creation period for the next year. That's when I work on what are we going to create for the next year. So it's very, very interesting to me that pulls in that way, that we are right now at solstice. The past is past, and we're beginning anew, ushering in the light, ushering in the hope for the coming year, and so on. We want to make sure that we stay really clear in this defining moment between the darkness and the light. All right. Don't get distracted into the materialism. Don't get distracted into the imposed anxiety like I have been, right? Because I'm not living up to what society says Christmas is all about, right? This has been a difficult year for me personally because normally I'm the matriarch. Everybody's coming to my house. I'm the one that's decorating. I'm the one that's cooking. So being out of that role this year has really kind of given me the space to look at what is the celebration of the holiday right now that's being called up by the spirit, and what is the celebration of the holiday that's being laid upon by the world, right? Makes sense anyway.
It's also finding a new role, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily, because I'll be back to that other role next year.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of having the space that I'm not inside of it, that I can look at it from the outside, and I can really take a look at the things that over the 53 years of my life I've been doing as an expression of spirit, right? That are really very witchy, like the nature types of things, literally making evergreen wreaths, and my favorite, when you go around and you look at Christmas lights, some of the most beautiful Christmas lights, in my opinion, are just a simple candle in the window.
Yeah.
That type of thing. And the little twinkle lights on the trees. Well, thank goodness we've graduated from candles on the trees, because that was dangerous. But all of those things that have been passed down, that were the homey tradition of Christmas, and bringing those out and utilizing the presence of spirit and the power of light to stay focused on, are we being selfish? Are we more consumed with what am I going to get for Christmas? Or are they going to like what I've got them for Christmas? That's just as selfish. You're concerned about your own feelings in that. I'm concerned about my own feelings in that. Will I be loved? Will I be accepted if I don't get you what you want? That's completely self-serving and self-preservationist, right?
Oh, yeah.
So standing strong in that, being a beacon of light for the coming year, right? Ushering in the light for the coming year. And I hope that each and every one of you this week gets to have at least a few moments where you connect with Mother Earth, the stars above, and have that experience of spirit, right? There is no, and we're going to go a little bit long today. There's no accident about the fact that there will be 5 stars and planets lined up this week in the sky like the tail of a kite. There is no accident that there is a green comet on the horizon that can be seen from North America early at twilight, right?
Mhm.
And there is no accident that Jupiter is doing its thing, because that is the star of Bethlehem, right? All of these things. I wish that I had a computer model of what the sky looked like 2015 years ago. And where, from my vantage point, or from the Middle East, what it looked like. Was that comet coming around then? That we know that Jupiter rose just before the sun. It was backlit. It was much brighter than normal. And we know that lineup of stars probably occurred similarly around the same time, right?
Mhm.
So what we sing about as that is probably more real than we realize. All right, enough about that. We want to move on and say congratulations today to our winner this week. Dun, 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 dun. Congratulations, Allison Baker.
Allison!
Thank you so much for being part of Three Crones in the Woo Woo. As you know, all you got to do is reach out to one of us in the group and let us know which one you choose to deliver your prize. With me, you'll get a 30-minute tarot reading. With Krista, you'll get a 30-minute crystal reading. And with Damaris, you'll get a 30-minute tarot reading or numerology report, correct? Awesome. Yes. So just reach out to us. Congratulations, and thank you so very much for watching Three Crones in the Woo Woo.
Thank you.
Have an absolutely fantastic Yule, solstice, Christmas, and we will see you again before the new year. All right? Take care, everybody. Thanks again. Oh, wait. We got to thank our contributors. I'm like rushed now that we're over time. Krista Ducharme with Dimensional Healing with Krista on Facebook. Yeah. Damaris Samolinski with Ask the Genie with Damaris Samolinski. And yours truly, Gayle Nicholson with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. Once again, from all of us here at Three Crones and the Woo, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a part of our lives and our show this year. And take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.